The concept is simple. I made a community post where I asked you guys to submit your own Deltarune theories, and now I am going to debunk them. Since there is a Prince from the Dark mentioned in the prophecy, Ralsei might betray us in a further chapter, and Lancer, being a Prince from a Dark World himself, takes his place. Now, hear me out here. The legend is very obviously this game's version of a scene from Undertale, that being the opening sequence. I don't think I need to explain why. It got the same art style with the bumblebee color palette and the thing where they show one image at a time to tell a story. And just like this comment's theory states, this scene also has a big twist to it. And that is that the fallen human isn't the one we play as, but rather a completely other human. However, the clever thing with that opening sequence is that it never outright lied. It merely tricked you into thinking that you were playing as the fallen human. However, if you look closely at the details, you can see that the fallen human in the intro sequence only has one stripe on their shirt. This means that whatever is shown on screen in that sequence is never an objective lie, and I'd argue that it'd be fair to apply the same rules to the legend sequence in Deltarune. And Lancer himself outright states that they are the teardrop guy in the legend. And if we compare this teardrop guy with the Prince from the Dark, we can see that they are actually a bit different. Sure, their spiked feet may be a bit similar, and Lancer could also theoretically put a robe on, but other than that, the prince is a lot larger than Ralsei, and if that wasn't enough, the prince clearly has fire around him. And while Ralsei can't cast fire yet, there is still a bunch of stuff pointing towards that he will learn fire eventually. But you know who probably won't? Lancer. Which is why I say that your theory fucking sucks! Please submit your own theories in the comment, but make sure they begin with DRT. Papyrus is the knight. Reason? Where is his ass? My theory is that someone, potential Gaster, is luring Papyrus with a false sense of security and telling him to do knight stuff to be popular, unaware of the roaring, etc. I think that in the end, Papyrus will have to come to terms with what he's been doing once the part explains everything to him, and will try to help us near the end against whoever this chapter boss is, in a way similar to Burly at the end of chapter 2. Okay, listen here, if Papyrus created the Dark Worlds, then where is ass at? You know how much he wants to be popular, and you should also know how much the people with the most power, like the queen or the Bing, idolizes the knight. Don't you think that Papyrus wouldn't want to take advantage of that? Oh, but Gaster is manipulating Papyrus into not doing that. Are you stupid? Do you think Papyrus would just casually listen to that? Because, you know, spoilers for Undertale, he doesn't really have the greatest reputation when it comes to following instructions from his leaders. I'm talking about that time he let the human go despite the fact that Undyne told him to kill the human. So that is why I deem your theory absolute garbage! There are two Gasters, one from Undertale and one from Deltarune. One is the psychopath and one is the dadster. It would be just the kind of fansearch Toby would do, using both of the community's favorite interpretation of Gaster and not shooting either down. It may just be me though. I am not sure if it is only you, but it is definitely not me. Deltarune was a game that was planned before Undertale, aka before all the gangster interpretations was even a thing. And it is one thing to change a random pop-up ad in order to make a reference to Ralsei with a gun, but Gaster? I mean, we don't know how important it's gonna be, but probably very. Do you think it's gonna change that much simply for fan service? I'm calling it. This is the worst theory of this video. Moving on to the next one. Ralsei is the Dark Fountain himself? Okay, they didn't provide any evidence for their theory, but this is a Dark Fountain. And this is Ralsei. In chapter 3, Noelle's search history will be leaked and she will get a death sentence because of lots of suicide porn, but instead of Burly die after a snowgrave route, he wakes up like nothing physically happened to him. Noelle will actually die both on the dark and light worlds. What?